Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another special edition of the Developer Experience Office Hours. I am joined by the one and only Serena from the future. How are you doing today, Serena?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, a little sleep deprived, but that's
Yeah,
what coffee's for. So, yeah.
exactly. Looking forward to the 3-day weekend that Red Hat's given us with the
Mhm.
recharge day tomorrow, which is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I'll be recharging for sure.
yeah, and hoping we can get through this with some clusters working. We'll see what
Oh
happens.
yeah, I mean we have spares, but we never like using spares.
Right. Exactly.
So you want to talk about the experience, the new experience in 4.9 coming,
Yeah.
OpenShift? Yeah,
So pretty funny, right? Because 4.8's just kind of
just came
live.
out. Yeah,
But we've got our developer console team has been working hard this quarter, and as usual, and along with a lot of the operator back teams that we're providing interfaces for. And I wanted to kind of walk through some of those features. Some are integrated into the cluster that I have, so we're not at GA quality yet, right? We're still going through testing, et cetera. And then other things I was just going to show either designs for or some of the screenshots that we have in PRs, just to give an idea of what we've got going for people coming into, for the 4.9 release,
yeah,
which won't be for another quarter or so, but still keep everybody interested in what we're doing.
great.
So let's see. I have one cluster which just started kind of misbehaving. So I'm going to try it on this one first. And if we find a failure, I'm going to move to another.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about a number of different areas. So today, the first piece I was going to talk about are the new serverless features that we're introducing post 4.8. Notice on this cluster, I kind of have a banner. I added a console notification on the top and the
Yes.
bottom that just says, hey, this contains post 4.8 features. Of course, on my backup cluster, I don't have that. So
We're talking about things from the future on this stream, folks.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
Definitely in the future. So one of the cool features that we've got coming is community Camlet support.
Nice.
So if I go into my ad page, I can go into my developer catalog, and in that developer catalog, there are event sources. And what you see here is the default 4 event sources that we provide. If you want okay, so I'm going to take a step back. So in order to see this, what we have here, we have to have the Red Hat OpenShift serverless operator installed, which is already pre-installed by me. If you want to, in 4.9, if you want to be able to utilize the community Camlets, what you also have to do is install the Camel K operator. So I've also done that here.
So 2 operators.
Yes, so 2 operators. If I go into the developer catalog, what I'm going to be able to see here is this thing called an integration platform, and that's the schema that I need to install in order to see the community Camlets. And what's going to be really, you know what? I'm going to cancel out of this one more time because I just want to go back here and show you guys one more time. When I go into the event sources right here, it's just showing me 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the catalog. I'm going to install this integration platform in my namespace. So this can be done per namespace. And when I do that, we'll go back into the event source catalog.
Okay.
And now what you'll see is I've now, not only do I have the 4 default event sources, but I'm also got 50 community Camlets, which are source Camlets. So if I go over into the Camlet catalog, which is here, I can see there's a number of source and sinks. But let's just look for the heck of it. I have not tried this because I literally just installed it, but I see earthquake source here, right? Ooh. So now if I go back to my event source here.
I saw Chuck Norris source too, but
So yeah, so you can kind of create any of these. Obviously, you'd have to have all the requirements ready and stuff in order to utilize them. But what this is really doing is it's enabling our developers who are creating or building applications to be able to have a lot more event sources available to them now with this community Camlet integration. So it's pretty cool. as I mentioned, I said Earth, so that's why there's only one. But yeah, so there's 50 of them, just to take a look through. And I'm not going to demo installing one, but just to kind of take a quick look. There's Bitcoin, kind of interesting. Yeah, as you said, Chuck Norris. Well, I'm not sure what that one is.
Yeah.
Periodically get some jokes. Very nice. There you go.
Now I'm really wondering what I can build with that.
I know. Yeah. So GitHub source, Google Mail, I think there's Slack down here as well. Telegram.
Twitter. Wow. Okay.
Twitter. Yeah. So there's all kinds of great things you can do once you pull this in. So, so that's a great new feature. I think people are going to be excited about that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is talk about a little bit of extended or enhanced support that we have for Knative services. I'm going to try to create a Knative service right now. And if it fails, I'm going to have to pop over to the other cluster. So let me just say, I'm going to deploy an image, the hello OpenShift one. Okay. And I'm just going to say, make this a serverless deployment. I'm going to hit create. Oh, it worked. Awesome. Okay. Sorry, because this is
this is stuff from the future, so
yeah. Well, we just had to up the number of machine sets, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work there, but it looks like it works. So thanks to Jeff if he's listening, because he just fixed it for me.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, so when we install the serverless application, if I select it, you can see on the right-hand side, right underneath the resources tab, we've got pods, revisions, and routes. So I can access this app by clicking on that route, right? And it's the route that's we define, right? So it's that kind of the base default route that we provide. Well, what we're doing now for serverless applications is enabling or supporting domain mapping. So if I come to my actions menu and say, I want to edit hello OpenShift, what I'll be able to do down here on the bottom is say, I want to look at those routing options again. And now I can add a domain mapping here super easily. Yeah, super easily, right? So if I want it just to be like, I could just call it serena.org or whatever it happens to be, right? I can just hit create. There it is. It sets it for me. And now I hit a save. Of course, there's some additional setup you'd need to do in order for that to actually work, right?
Yeah.
But I can now click on this object. And now, since I set that domain mapping, you'll see that it's also here as well.
Right. So basically the additional setup would be DNS, right? Like just creating a CNAME.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So the other cool thing that you can, so there's a number of different things you can do here. I guess they also have the ability to create a route that's not exposed publicly. So it's called a cluster local URL. So I can also go through that. So I'm going to do another add container image. I'm going to use hello world go. Okay. I don't know if this one works. I haven't tried this for a while. And instead, what I'm going to do this time, instead of creating and going back and editing, I'm just going to uncheck this box.
No route.
So what that's going to do is it's going to give me a route on my cluster. So cluster local, as they may say. So when I hit create, this is going to take a minute for this to come up, but I should still be able to come here and I can see in that URL that it's set to cluster local.
Nice.
That route, right? So you also then do have the ability to come in here and set a domain mapping from this one as well. Cool. So wanted to kind of walk through those two. So I think that, those things, the Knative upstream is doing a lot of work in this area, and we are, as they're continuing to do that work and we bring that into OpenShift serverless, we're going to be continuing to increase the amount of features that we provide through the console. So a lot of this stuff is already available if you go in your editing YAML or whatever. But like I mentioned, we're just trying to make sure that we create these easier experiences through the console today. Right. So that's kind of a nice one. That's going to be in 4.9.
Question in chat here.
Okay.
What is under the hood of the domain mapping? I'm assuming the load balancer.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, ingress is part of that, but the route itself is set up by the load balancer, if I remember correctly.
I think I brought the link with me just in case some questions were asked that I did not know, and I'm wondering if we'd be able to take a look at this here, and we can maybe even stick that in the chats. I'm not sure that this is. Let me find this. Let me get the link and I'll stick it in the chat as well, Chris. Maybe you can take a peruse through and see if that might.
Will do. Yeah, I don't want to hold you.
Give you any information. Because I would have to read to find out that detail, and I'm not sure how quickly we can find that. Oh.
So, if you're using Istio, it creates Istio gateway, but that's, yeah, ingress router.
Ingress router, okay.
Yeah. There you go. And actually, it's standing up that hello world example in the docs here. So, or hello OpenShift, I should say. Yeah.
Hello OpenShift. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, good to know.
Awesome.
Great question. Thank you for it.
All right. So the next piece around serverless, there's a couple other small things that are going to be done here. So in, geez, I think it might have been in 4.7. What we did was could even have been 4.6, that we enabled visualizing channels and brokers in the UI. And we had even had a form-based channel creation, but we did not for broker. So if you go to the add page in 4.9, what you'll see is a broker item that will be available, that you're just going to be able to create a broker through through a form rather than having to do it through YAML. This is currently just supporting kind broker. So it's only one type of broker that we're supporting through the creation format. And when you create that, there's a unique visualization here. And then you can create add your triggers and connect those to your Knative service and add filters and values as needed. But that feature has always kind of been here I shouldn't say always, the last couple of releases, it's been in the console. We're just exposing a form-driven experience for that creation of the broker, which is nice. The other thing that's going to be changed on the add page for serverless stuff is today in 4.8, we have a serverless card. And we also have event sources that are under the developer catalog. In 4.9, what we're going to do is actually rename serverless to eventing, and we'll have event source, channel, and broker all under that. So as the operator is installed, you get a single card that shows all the stuff that's eventing related in there, which makes a lot of sense. So it's just kind of a little bit of a usability enhancement there. Cool. So moving on to another area that we're making changes is monitoring. So if you guys notice in our navigation underneath topology, instead of monitoring, we have renamed it to be called observe.
Nice. I like this.
So yeah, so we're trying to, because as we're moving to we have plans for continuing to enhance our observability story. So over the next number of releases, I'm sure you'll see additional things or features enabled here that will help with that story. But the first one is making that called observe in topology. When you select an item, actually we don't have it. Let me just put a regular deployment config, because right now we don't support that feature for serverless applications. So if I select just a regular deployment, you'll see that this tab here is called observe. It used to be called monitoring. There is a link that says view monitoring dashboard. That's also going to get changed to view observe dashboard. That's really not that exciting. It's literally just the it's just the name. But the other thing I do want to show you is the PR. So hold on for 1 second. I am going to pull up that PR for you guys because the PR is not merged yet. I was kind of hoping that that was going to happen before our demo occurred today, but it did not. But one of the exciting things is, and this is a screenshot from the PR, is, let me go back to what we have today again. I'm sorry. If I go to observe, we only have a single dashboard today.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing in 4.9 is we're going to have 4 dashboards. So there will be a dashboard selector. So this is one of the screenshots. I'm just going to go back and pull over the other screenshot. This is an animated GIF. Whoops, maybe not as big as I might want it to be. Can I increase that?
There
Let's
you go.
see. Yeah, we go. So yeah, there's a workload dashboard. There's a pod dashboard where you can do it in context. And this is a little blurry because I had to increase that. So sorry about that. But we now have 4 of the dashboards. So if somebody went into the, let's see, am I logged in as admin here? I might be. So, in the administrator dashboard, it might take me a few minutes to figure out where that is over here. Or maybe I'm not. Oh, you know what? I am not admin. I'm not admin there.
I'm not seeing the tabs I would normally expect.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Dashboards. Okay. So, on the administrator side, for administrators, we have all kinds of dashboards, much more. Right. What we're doing in 4.9 is we're just exposing 4 of those on the dev side. We're also talking about thinking about a mechanism where, as people add dashboards here, they might be able to tag them to show up for developers. That would be post 4.9, but that's something for example, the Knative team has been talking about this, that they want to really be able to enable their serverless applications to have additional dashboard, monitoring and observability use cases fulfilled. So that's something that we're looking further down the road after 4.9. But we're hoping that this kind of sets the stage for that, which will be nice.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my test cluster. All right, so the next piece that I have is around pipelines. Now, again, for pipelines, most people do know this, but you need to have the OpenShift pipelines operator installed in order to have the pipelines items show up in the navigation on either developer or admin side. But what we've done is made some major improvements inside the pipeline builder. For people, I don't know if people had done this previously. When we did add tasks, what we did was just showed a drop down of the available tasks just with the name. So if you didn't know what that task name did, you were in the dark. So the first thing that we've kind of done is add the search capability. So I can just type in, let's just say, maybe. Okay, let's say, yeah. So I'll type in Git. So now this shows me all of the available tasks to me. Not only, so it shows me some tags and some labels here. So I can see this is a Red Hat community one. This is actually from Red Hat. But it also shows me that little description on the right-hand side, right? Which so enables you to really be able to know what you're doing without having to get out of the workflow to be able to know what time task you're adding. So that's one really nice piece. The second piece, which hasn't been merged yet, is, so what I'm showing you right now is it's just showing you the tasks that are in the current namespace as well as the cluster tasks. But what we're also going to be doing in 4.9 is we're going to be integrating Tecton Hub. So all of these tasks that you see here in Tecton Hub, when I say times task, all of these will be available to you when you're creating pipelines from our pipeline builder in 4.9. So we'll see those all in this same search dialog. So pretty cool, because I don't know the number of these because it's not showing me the number, but it is going to expand the capability right off the bat for you if you want to use something from the community immediately, right? So pretty cool. And then, so this is again talking for the future, that will be in 4.9, this is something that we have kind of, like I mentioned, there's PRs up for these. Post 4.9, what we're talking about doing is the pipelines team has already started talking about having the capability of having your own local Tecton hub. So I have my own curated set of tasks on my own cluster, right?
Wow.
And so post 4.9, we would also integrate that capability. Once we have that API, we would be able to hook that into this workflow as well. I know there's a number of customers who have been asking about that. So just kind of mentioning that as that's something that we will be looking at post 4.9 as well.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else have we done for pipelines? The other thing, I guess, what we are doing is we're going to be supporting pipelines as code. This is another one that I'm going to have to show you the PR. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to copy the link and pull this over here. And so today, again, this is a screenshot of a PR that's up for review. Today in 4.8, what we do is we only show pipelines in the UI if they have a pipelines resource associated with them. What pipelines as code is doing is enabling us to look at a Git repo and find pipeline definitions in that Git repo, which are considered pipeline as code. So this is like source of truth, right? That pipeline as code is now in Git. We are able to run those pipelines. And then I'm going to show you another. So as that pipeline is run, you would still be able to, let's see, you would still be able to see the pipeline runs associated with it like you do today. It's just that rather than creating pipelines through a Kubernetes resource, you're actually having it look at your Git repo and your pipeline definitions right from your Git repo, which again is another thing that's been asked by quite a number of customers. So this is a dev preview feature for console that would be released in 4.9. So I think this will also make people excited, whether you're Tecton pipelines user, how getting more closer towards GitOps, et cetera, right? So those are the two main areas in pipelines that we are working on.
Speaking of GitOps, at
3
o'clock, GitOps Guide to the Galaxy will be on the channel. So please feel free to tune in for that.
Who hosts that with you? Is that Christian?
Christian Hernandez.
Yeah. All right.
Mr. GitOps himself. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome. Another thing that we're working on is user settings, which is kind of interesting. So today, we have the ability to kind of remember settings, right? So let's see, if I leave, if I get out of, I'm going to just show an example. If I get out of OpenShift when I'm in the administrator perspective, hypothetically, it's going to remember that. And if I come back in here and come in, let's hope, still an administrative perspective. Nice. So now what we're doing is we're just starting to expose some of the user settings in a form-based flow. And give me 1 second, because this is again something I'm going to have to look at in the PR. So what we're going to be doing is just some small things initially. See here, we're going to be exposing just a couple of the items that I'll show you here. And again, this is just a screenshot from the PR. You'll get it from the user menu. There will be a settings item, and then that was not the right one. Hold on.
Which PR am I looking at?
Yeah, well, look, either the PR, I went to the wrong one, or the copy and paste did not work. One of the two. Let's see. Hold on. nothing can ever be easy here. Let's see, go here again, 5939. Copy and paste. There we go. Okay, so here we go. So for now, what we're going to be doing is having general settings. The first PR is just has general settings. So what's my perspective? It can either be set to what last viewed, which is what it is today, right? Whatever you leave as, it returns to when you come back in, or you can always have it come in as admin or always come in as dev. Also setting a default project, we'll be able to do that through here, as well as topology. So I think people know, for the most part, in our topology view today, we kind of have two different versions of it. Interesting here. What happened to my...
There it is.
Okay, we've got kind of like this graphical view, and then we also have this list view. So that's that other setting, is allowing you to, again, you can say last viewed, or you can say graph or list. So again, these are some, small user experience or usability issues or enhancements that we're trying to pull in to get people a little excited about kind of the usability story. Another one that we have in the backlog, which I know we've talked about here before, and I would love to hear from users. Tweet at me at Serena Marie 125 if it's something that you guys are interested in, is the dark mode, right? We've been talking about this one for quite a long time, and how important or not important it is to developers or users using a console.
That's a good question, and I'll drop your Twitter and chat.
That would be great.
Serena Marie 125.
Yes, exactly. I know it's not something that makes you want to purchase or not purchase something, but sometimes it just makes the, your experience that much better, or not. Depends on the people. But I'd love to get some feedback if people are passionate about it one way or the other. So
Serena is out there on the interwebs.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So something that we had done in 4.8 was we enabled, the form-based edits for deployment configs and deployments. So that is something we are also going to be doing for our build configs. That's not available in a PR yet, so I can't show you that, but that's another thing that we've kind of got coming up. And another big feature that we've got in the works but don't have anything to show at the moment is being able to export your application. So what we're going to have is a new button here that just says export app, and what it's going to do is give you a tar file with YAMLs of everything that you have in your current namespace. And what that will allow you to do is share it with others,
right?
Or the other thing you could do, right, is change your namespace. Come here into my import YAML. You can drag in multiple YAML files at a time, one spot, right? Recreate. Nice. But what this is really doing is setting us up for that capability of, when you're integrated with GitOps, being able to export and put up a PR, or shut my sync off for a second. I'm going to do some changes in the console, and then I want things to automatically resync. But those are things that we've kind of gotten that outer loop backlog of where we want to go, and are working on some of those supporting features to go forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a GitOps perspective, that's how I would want to check things in, as opposed to going through each object and getting the YAML and saving it as its own special name and everything. Like, just give me that tarball. Let me check that, in as, I see fit, review it, modify it if need be, check it in. That's going to be an awesome feature. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's been, once we have that ready, I think we'll come on and we'll demo that, what that looks like today, and also give credit to the teams that have been working on it, because we've got some people on the CTO office, we've got some people in the migration toolkit office who are doing kind of that back end work for us as well. And it's been a really nice collaborative project that we're working on. And like I said, dev preview initially, but then we continue to see that kind of like really working and providing some great capabilities for the GitOps mentality going forward.
Yeah. No longer can it be throw it over the wall or it works on my machine. Like it works on our cluster, right? Like,
right.
You can't get much better proof than that.
Yep, exactly. So I know it's only 30 minutes in, but that's kind of what we have today that I can even give you demos of and talk through. But I'd love to have, like I mentioned, I'm glad you put my Twitter handle out there. Anybody interested in learning more about any of these features or feedback, please free to always DM me or just tweet. We're always looking to get feedback also of anything that you might have in your mind that you don't currently do and want to give me some feedback. I mean, bad, good, indifferent, doesn't matter, right?
So you brought up dark mode and it's almost like, well, everyone else has done it. We should probably add it at this point. You know, it's like one of those things where it's like, never saw that becoming a thing, but okay. You know,
right.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in my OS now. So yeah.
I know the thing that was funny to me was that when Slack got it, I heard everybody, in the Slack channel, like, oh, did you see the dark mode? Right. So like certain people are really excited about that. I guess, it's easier on the eyes for some.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like to change the mode too, based on if it's light or dark out,
Yeah.
There's all kinds of options.
I do wish it was more granular and could like follow the sun better. Right. Like I know there's the, whole thing for like after dark. Like I want it to happen all day long, right? Like light mode in the morning to wake me up. And then by about 4 o'clock, switch me back to dark kind of deal. And, I'm sure I could trigger that somehow, but I want it to happen universally.
Right. Yeah. That would be
a fancy
really
feature.
Nice. Yeah. But we just need to start with it.
Right.
So I know our Patternfly team has been working on a POC on how that would look from a Patternfly or design system perspective. And we even started like an initial POC for OpenShift around it, but haven't determined if or / when that will make our roadmap. So, the more people we hear about it, the better off it will be. So definitely let us know. I think the other thing we kind of touched upon a little bit earlier was around that observability story. So, another thing.
Observability is just a hot thing right now.
Yes.
One of the many hot things right now, right? Like getting better telemetry out of your apps so you can make better decisions with your infrastructure. That whole cost savings experience that you can get from it. And then B, performance knowledge, right? Like, how your app is going to perform the more you can plug into it. And that's kind of key. Yeah. The key part of observability is tracing and monitoring and, logs and everything else.
Exactly. Yep. And, our topology view today, we're not showing like some of that we have on our backlog, being able to show some of them the traffic information, but we're not doing that today. We are talking with a PM that's associated with tracing on how do we pull that in for an integrated observability story. We're also talking to the team that used to, it used to be Java Mission Control, I think it was called before, where they create recordings. Now they are creating an operator that's called Cryostat. Where it allows you to create some recordings so you can see some data around your Java applications. That's something that we're hoping to provide an operator for that would extend the UI from a monitoring perspective or observability perspective post 4.9. So we're working with them as well. But we also have we're starting to try to get a number of workshops of customer empathy workshops around monitoring and observability. We're trying to do them for both the admin space as well as for the developer persona. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. I'll probably even tweet about that. So I know our UX team I think they said that in September timeframe, we're thinking of starting some of those up. So it'd be great because what we're looking for is customers from different company. Obviously if you have 4 or 5 from the same company, that's great as well. I love to hear the voice from many different developers from different companies,
groups and companies.
groups.
Yeah,
exactly.
The more the merrier. Exactly.
Yeah. The more info, the better off we are, the better solution we can build, for sure. So lots of opportunities to kind of influence the roadmap, I'd say.
Yeah.
And give your perspectives. So
wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on, Serena. I appreciate all of this. It's always so cool to see what y'all are up to in the future there. So thank you again for tuning in, and thank you for coming on, Serena. And we'll catch up next time.
Definitely. Kudos to the Dev Console team and everybody who's worked hard on all this. And thanks all for joining or watching later on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
See you guys soon.
Stay safe out there.